So in doing this,
I forgot to start that. I'm sorry.
yeah, in doing this and seeing those kind of things, hearing that stuff, it's just better for all of us on this call to be like, okay, we just need to keep doing it, keep moving it, keep listening, keep following the directions, because it is going to pay off, or it's not going to do us any good. It's not going to do you any good.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
a
awesome,
lot of
Maureen.
it. Oh, thanks, Liz. And a lot of it is being consistent, and it is having, a team behind you, because I think, I don't know, most of us on this call come from the same area. So, it's been a big switch coming from where the platforms that I was using before for marketing, and then now coming here and really having an understanding of not only what it is, but how it can tie into what we're doing. Yeah, people can tell us, get it. People have told us, get a website, set up your Facebook business, set up your Instagram, but they're like, okay, now what do I do with it? And then even if I know what to do with it, how do I optimize it so it can actually be useful for me, instead of it just being there just to be there? So it's a combination of that, but then also having the mindset of, I know what I want this, how I want this to work for me. Because Roger and Sean, they can give us the direction, but then also it might not be the exact direction for you. Like, you have to start to understand how is all of this going to work for your business? And that's, I think, really been the key for me. And again, like, between the TRC workshop and then this workshop over the weekend, and then all of it coming together, it was just really a lot of clarity and focus on where I want to go. So
Awesome.
yes.
Maria, I know you've been taking some action. You and I haven't talked, but Roger fills me in because he's been talking to you. You're muted. You're muted, so we can't hear you. But it sounds like a good conversation.
Sorry. Here I am. So yeah, we retooled my website to change my focus to a serving the realtor community.
Mhm.
So this week, I reached out to 15 realtors that I know or was referred to or happened to meet at various locations, networking events, etc. So hopefully that will drive some interest to my website. I did get 2 people who are interested, not a contract yet, but and then Roger and his team and you guys retooled that website. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Terry, bringing us up from the rear.
Yes, sir. Been taking action on some of the things that were discussed in Big Bear. So consolidation of certain items and that. So we've got that, should have that locked up probably by the end of this week or beginning of next. Our book on how we can support couples going through divorce should be done. So I was going to probably schedule a call with you guys this week to figure out how we implement that. I did get a reply off one of the blogs from a company that does the warranties on homes. When you buy a new home, you get the warranty. Mm-hmm. They were wondering if we would like any of their material for blogs. And I was going to put that out to the support group to see if that would be something that we could do some soybean filler on throughout the weeks. So,
yep, definitely send that in. Roger can take a look and kind of advise on that front. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. I forward him emails all the time when I get that kind of stuff, and
right,
it's like, you tell me, do we?
I'll chime in. Yeah, let me chime in real quick, because I think this applies to every. I think I know what you got, Terry, and a lot of you guys actually have gotten them or will get them. They're basically people reaching out, companies. You put a blog post about a certain topic, and they will reach out and say, "Hey, it looks like you're, offering this service, or you're talking about this topic. I just happen to have another blog or, something. I would love for you to add it to your resource page," right? So guess who that is? It's another SEO trying to reach out to you, trying to get a backlink from But that's a good news for you guys when you get reached out that way, because one means you're out there. They found you valuable. So that's a huge plus. Number two, look at that content. Sometimes that content is really, really good, and you can repurpose it and have our team, your team, whoever, you rewrite that content and add it yourself. So you own it, right? We're actually doing that for another client. Someone sent them over a great guide and we're repurposing it for his purpose, right? So he owns it. So Terry, that's something. And then the final thing is, if you really like it and you dig deep into that company and you're like, oh man, these guys are legit. I like it. I want to basically vouch for them, right? I'm okay with that. Then add it to your website. Absolutely. So there's a process on making choices on that. And that's the same thing, Terry. I want to kind of tell everybody, because I think everybody gets those emails, but it is a good opportunity. And sometimes it is a good idea just to add their resource on your website. So.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right.
Well,
So
wait, I
that-
have a quick question on that. Roger, is that fairly new that people are doing that, or has that been around? Because I mean, it is funny that all of a sudden you start seeing that come through. And we've added a couple people to our website that are relevant to our business.
Mhm.
But that was interesting to me that I think that's another great opportunity. Get yourself out there and do the same with other companies.
Absolutely. That's an SEO strategy that's been around since the beginning.
I guess it's just because, once you get out there, then you start getting it back.
It's more than an SEO strategy. I mean, we look at it as an SEO strategy as an agency, right? But for marketing your brand, that's an excellent way to reach out to your peers, to reach out to people in the industry and send out content. And basically, I always tell you guys, there's there's like 200 factors that are on our checklist for SEO. And one of them is getting backlinks, and that's probably the strongest signal, right, that you can get.
Yeah.
What better way for you guys to reach out to a common platform, common website in the industry and pretty much market your piece of content? Tell them, hey, I would love for you guys to put it on there. Looks like you guys already talked about it. Don't repurpose it. Put my blog on there. Boom. A lot of people will do it. It's just, once again, I don't want to make it negative, because it's not. Sometimes, like I said, it might make sense for you guys to add that content to your website.
Cool. So on that note, I want to revisit and go a little deeper into something I talked about at the workshop. But before I do, go to the chat box right now. And in the chat box, write, what is this Friday? Don't write that. I want you to write, what is this Friday? Answer the question in the chat box. What is this Friday? So I got 2 people so far with answers. Yvonne, you're excluded. I'm not going to make you type it in while you're driving. So we got Segal, we've got Lorraine, we got Liz, and we got Chris. So Jackie, Maria, Mia, Terry. Ditto what they say. Maria, okay. Jackie, just waiting on you, girl. Google can't answer this question for you. Okay, so let's see. We've got beginning of the 4th quarter, start of the 4th quarter. Chris, the obvious, October 1st. Segal, last quarter. Terry, ditto what they say. I guess you're answering both with both of those answers. Okay. End of the federal fiscal year. That's actually a very accurate answer, Maria, but not the way that I was thinking. And then Jackie, are you rolling out your toolkit? drum roll. If you said it is the start of the fourth quarter, you are correct. Friday kicks off the final quarter of the year. I don't know how many of you guys realize that. I don't know if it's ever really hit you that 2021 is literally 3 months away from being over with. I feel like it was just last week. I was talking about it's January of 2021. It's time to really kind of kick the gear into high gear here, right? And here we are 3 quarters down. So I'm going to ask this question, throw this one in the chat box. Are you on track, or have you made significant, and I'm going to emphasize that word, significant process in your goals? So are you on track with your goals, or have you made significant progress on those goals? Yes or no? So I got Chris saying no, Terry saying no. I'm going to disagree with Terry. I'll come back to that one in a second. Lorraine made significant process. Jackie, not on track yet. Liz, no, but yes, we made significant. Maria, just reset my goals, so on track. Okay. Terry, I'm going to disagree with you, because I think your goals at the beginning of the year weren't your right goals. And I think Big Bear put light on that and shifted it. So I have a feeling you're more on the I've made significant progress.
Okay, I'll go with you on that. Yep.
On that side. So in case you guys don't know, Terry's part of my Lions Den mastermind group, and we met in a few weeks ago up in Big Bear. Terry had a big aha breakthrough on why his real estate business was driving him into the ground, and he was putting too much stress on himself with it. So that's why I was disagreeing there. So I want to revisit the final element of the workshop. I know some of you guys had to jump off early. Some of you guys weren't on it. Some of you stuck around through it. But in all honesty, that topic takes more than an hour to really unpack and bring the whole realization to it. So I'm not going to be able to get through it all today, but I want to revisit kind of the overarching topic, and then give you guys a couple easy action items to do over the next week to start moving the needle. Because for many of us, you guys answered it pretty accurate. You've made some significant process, but there's still improvements to go. Or you're in that other, I should say, or not, but, or you're on that other side where you're saying, no, I didn't really get there. And for most of us on the call, we're real estate folks. That means deals, right? We'll just kind of put the big elephant right in the center of all of this. It's deals. Until we've got deals hitting us on a consistent basis, we're not going to hit our goals, right? Yes, everything Roger and I teach is really about generating organic lead flow online to try to limit how much offline marketing we've got to consistently do that we know only hits about 1 to 3% of people to begin with. More organic, the more natural it's going to feel, the more likely you are to close opportunities out of it. However, we also know, and Roger talks about this a lot, the game of search engine optimization, the game of building organic lead generation online is a long game. It does not happen in 30 days. It does not happen in 6 weeks. It does not happen in 6 months. Heck, it doesn't even happen in 12 months. It's a long game. It takes time, and then it even takes time to stay nurturing it, to keep it there. Okay. So in the interim, we owners of companies, we have to resort back to the one thing that we can control. And that is manufacturing opportunities ourselves. I'll say that again. We as business owners, there's one thing that we can control, and that is manufacturing the opportunity ourselves. I can't rely on my website, social media, blogging, backlinks, Google Stacks. I can't rely on them to do the job, right? Because it's not me in full control of that. There's a process. It takes some time. It eventually evolves. It builds momentum. There's a lot of other factors that come into it to get it there. But as a business owner, I physically can go create opportunities. But you guys answer this question really quick. Does that mean it's going to be automated, easy, simple, and no work? No, I see you guys shaking your heads. No.
Sean, if everything was that way, then we wouldn't be here. I mean, if it was this easy, everybody would be out there doing it.
So we know that this is going to take some time, energy, effort. It's going to take some work on our part. It's going to probably require us to do some things that ideally we wouldn't want to do. But I go back to, I need to manufacture deals. I need to manufacture opportunities. Don't mistake the word manufacture for fake. Manufacture for falsify. What I'm talking about is no different than when I talked manufacturer engagement online, asking somebody to ask. I just manufactured engagement in the chat box. If Zoom rated Zoom calls based on how often the chat box was being done, I just got an A+ for us because I made you guys go into the chat box and write stuff that I could have very easily asked you to what? Unmute yourself and say, right? But I made you go to the chat box to do it. No different than I talk about on social media, tell them to go to the comments and do the stuff. No different than an email telling them to reply back with it. Manufactured engagement, right? Manufactured deals, manufactured business opportunities is the exact same thing. I'm going on the offensive here. I'm going to go out and I'm going to attack. So there are a couple ways that we can do this. I talked about it at the workshop. I call it the top 50 or your ideal 50. The ideal 50 starts with, let me see if I can use my whiteboard for you guys. And I can't, I don't have any markers around. They're still packed up from the weekend. I don't know where they're at. The ideal 50 starts with a list. Now there's only 3 real ways that you can have a list. Way number 1 is you scrub an existing list that you already have, meaning you've already bought some list somewhere, you already have a database of some list, and you can go through and you can scrub these names and email addresses and phone numbers and addresses of these individuals because you already have it. So you're going to scrub it based on criteria. I'll talk that next. The second way that you can have a list is you go buy it. You go buy the data. The third way that you can have a list is you build it. Well, most of us, we're trying to build our lists by our websites, right? Form opt-ins, people going to different areas, submitting information, this type of stuff. So there's only 3 ways: build it, buy it, or scrape it, because I already own it. What I want you guys to do is have a combination of all 3 of these in the background. And this is really step 1 of this whole process. Take a look at your existing database. If it has your ideal audience in it, the ideal people that you would want to do deals with, start scraping that list down based on some criteria. I'll talk about that in a second. If you look at your database and you don't really have a significant list already, then just speed the process up and go buy it. Go buy a database of individuals who fit your ideal audience. And I don't have to get too deep into that one because as real estate people, we buy lists all the time to do direct mails, to skip trace them, to all this other stuff, right? Go buy the list. Keep it specific to who you ideally want. We're going on the offensive here. I only want to go after people that I know it makes sense for me to do deals with. Doesn't have to be a huge list. I'm not telling you go buy a list that's the entire country or your entire state. I'm going to use Lorraine, for example. If I'm going to go buy a list in what you do and who you're going after, I'm going to go buy a list of people who already own other notes, right? Or I might go buy a list of people that, I don't know if this even exists, but go check. Buy a list of people who've bought crypto in the last 60 days. See what I'm saying? How get as specific as we can, go search online and try to find the list of people that are out there. All you're looking for is whatever contact information you can get. If it's an email, great. If it's a phone number, great. If it's an address, great. If it's all of the 3, couple of the 3, it doesn't matter. Whatever data we can get, go get it. That's step one. Are we all good with that? That's pretty easy to do. Some of you already have this data. Others of you just go buy something. Here's where it starts to get a little manual, and here's where those that will push through it will make deals happen. I promise you. And those that don't, I will promise you won't make a deal happen. Start scrubbing down the list based on a set of criteria. For the real estate side, this is start doing your desktop analysis before you've ever even made contact with this person. So let's say, I don't know, let's say Jackie's going to target pre-foreclosure homes. And I'm just throwing an example, Jackie. I'm not sure if this is it or not. But let's say Jackie's going to go after pre-foreclosure homes, and she's only going to target on this outreach campaign here. She's only going to target people that are in zip code 90210. Doesn't even live here in Hollywood, but we're going to use that, right? She only wants 90210 pre-foreclosures. And she gets her hands on a database, a list that's, I don't know, maybe 500 names on it. I don't need 500 names. But I know that's 500 people that are in foreclosure in 90210. It's worth me putting in some time now. Literally go through that list and start doing desktop analysis on every address that you have. If you don't have the address of somebody, start doing your research to try to find an address. Are there other platforms that you can probably run this through? Could we skip trace it? Yes, there's other stuff out there to do it. The goal here is to try to get that list from whatever it's at to maybe about 100 people. This is quick search. Yep, that house is in an area of 90210 that I would actually do. You know, it makes sense for me. Yep, that house is a 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,800 square foot, right? Set your criteria, whatever it might be. Is it a specific area of the zip code? Is it a specific size? Is it a specific price point? Some quick criteria that in 10, 15 minutes of you looking at some data, you can say yes or no to it. Are we all tracking still here? Once you get that down to about 100, now the goal is to decide on your first 50. And at this point, it really doesn't matter. Take the first 50, take the back 50, takes a 50 mixture of all 100 of them. You've nailed this down to about 100 people, 100 addresses, 100 whatevers that you know is worth it if you can get it. So just pick 50 of them. Okay. Once you identify what those 50 are, the next step behind that is to set a plan to touch out and reach out and try to make connection with 2 of them a day. I'm going to stop right there before we go any farther and just make sure everybody's on the same page, or does anybody got any questions? No questions? Go ahead, Jackie.
Connection is which anyway?
I'm going to get into that in a second
Okay,
on what the actual connection is, but
Okay.
the goal is 2 a day when we get to that point.
okay,
Okay. So basically, we're going to go gather whatever data we can get our hands on to recap this. Gather whatever data we can get it to a point to where we can make a quick desktop style kind of decision. Yes, that'd be a good area. No, that wouldn't be a good one for me. Yes, if that person actually reached out to me through my website, I would pursue it. No, I would not. Based on criteria that would give you that answer. Okay. Goal is to try to find 100 of them so that I can take 50 of those 100 and go to work over the next 30 days on 50 potential opportunities. Good with all that? Once we get it, literally, that could probably happen if you guys really put in the work. That could happen by this time next week. It's pretty simple stuff for you to do, right? That by next Monday, you're able to say, yep, Sean, I got my 50 people that over the course of October, I'm going after. Now the fun side comes. And I'm not going to, I'll explain what I would have you do, but over the coming weeks, these are some of the things that'll kind of pop up that you'll ask some questions on, and I'll kind of help bring some tactics and ideas to the table for you. But once I've identified who are these 50, I'm going after them from a contact standpoint. It all comes down to what information do I have? Do I have a phone number? Do I have an email? Do I have an address? What do I have? Okay. Me personally, I would like to have all three if I can get all three. But let's just say all I have is addresses. I'm taking 2 a day. I'm going to drive to those 2 addresses. And what do you think I'm going to do with that address?
An analysis.
I got 2 addresses. What am I say it, Chris?
You got to knock on the door.
I'm going to knock on the door. It's 2. I'm not spending all day doing door knocking. I'm going after 2 today. These are my 2. I'm going to knock on the door. If that's all I had was their address, I'm going to knock on their door. If they don't answer, I'm going to make sure that I have some information that I can leave behind. What do you think is going to be on that information? Say it, Jackie.
Website?
Website. Exactly, Liz. A door hanger, a pamphlet, a business card, whatever I've got. I'm not going to overthink this right now, right? I'm not going to use the excuse, well, I don't have door hangers, so I can't do this, Sean. No, you got a business card? Great, leave a business card. Heck, one of the best strategies that ever worked for me when I used to door knock like crazy, sticky notes. Just the good old fashioned bright color, yellow, orange, blue, green, whatever I had available, sticky note that I would write a message on there. Hey, stop by to talk to you about your property. Give me a call at, or check us out over here, and a website. Stick it on their door. Why? Because it grabbed attention. Who the heck left me a sticky note on my door? Right. The point is, no excuse. So I'm going to knock on a door. I'm going to leave some information behind. If they're home and they answer, I'm making connection. That's it. I'm going to introduce myself. Hey, my name's Sean Tiberio. I'm with Access Home Buyers. I just happened to be in the area and I saw your house and I fell in love with it. I'd love to know, are you ready to sell? You thinking about selling? Ever thought about selling your house? Do you know what's really going on in the market today? No, I'm not interested in it. Cool. That's awesome. Do you know if your neighbor is, or do you by chance know if your neighbor's home? Why do I play that game? Because I'm putting them on the spot, making them feel awkward for a second, right? It's all about I'm manufacturing engagement. I'm forcing him or her to have some conversation with me here with a question. Even if they answer, I'm going to leave them something. Well, in case you ever change your mind or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Here you go. The other strategy that you can do in this is you've got 2 addresses for today. Prior to going and knocking on their door, do a little bit of research. Obviously, you don't know the repairs of the property, but could you guys in about 10 minutes, if I gave you 2 addresses and gave you 10 minutes, could you do enough due diligence online to come back and say, depending on the level of repairs, this house is probably going to be worth X right now in the marketplace? We all feel pretty comfortable that we can 10 minutes or less tell a price of a home, right? After repair. So do a little bit of that research before you go. Knock on the door. When they open the door and answer, you ask them if they're in the mood to sell, if they're interested in selling. Have you ever thought about selling it? Have you paid attention to what's happening in the market today? And when they throw out a yes or a no, doesn't matter what it is, you can always come back with, well, I just was stopping by because I know a couple things that could happen. And I know that homes just like this today are selling for this price. And throw a number at him based on your research. The point is to try to generate a conversation. If you stand there for 2 or 3 minutes, you don't get the conversation going, have some fun with it, joke around, say, do you know if your neighbor's home? Do you know if they're interested in selling? I'll go talk to them. Do you know anybody else that's interested in selling? I'll go talk to them. You're not going to get a yes from every single person. But if I'm targeting 50 people over the course of the month, do I really need a yes from every single one of them? No. Now, let's say you have more than their address. That was an example of that's all you had was an address. Let's say you have a phone number or an email address. Phone number is pretty simple. I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call them. But here I'm going to play a little bit different strategy. If they answer, I'm going to try to create the conversation, just like I would if they answered the door. If If they don't answer and I get a voicemail, I would do something like this. Hey, sorry, I wasn't able to connect with you here today. My name's Sean Tiberio. I'm actually with Access Home Buyers. I was calling around to different individuals in these kind of neighborhoods that we are looking to buy our next home in. And I know about 2 or 3 very simple strategies that could probably get you X for your home. If you'd be interested in hearing what those are, give me a call back, or matter of fact, just head over to www.accesshomebuyers.com and you can hit us up over there as well. What's the point of the voicemail?
Send them to your website.
I'm telling them you can call me, but I'm also throwing out this option because you probably don't know who I am to go do what?
Go to my
Go
website.
look me up.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go look me up. Now, Roger can talk all day long about what's the value of them going and typing in www.accesshomebuyers.com in the URL bar and landing on that site, and what's the benefit to that, right? So there's that piece that I'm manufacturing, but I'm also manufacturing engagement in the sense that they'll probably get on there and I don't know, maybe they fill out a form. Maybe that's when they finally call me. If I had a chat bot on there, maybe they start answering me on a chat bot, right? Maybe they click over to a social profile and take a look at that. Maybe they finally start chatting with me there. But I'm enticing them to do it with what? What did I say that's an enticement to go do it?
The different strategies.
Yeah, I got a couple strategies that can help you get X for your house. Is this different than other real estate investors? Yeah, most real
Yes.
estate investors are just like, hey, you want a cash offer for your house? Call me. But no, what's the biggest objection we get when we get those phone calls? Well, how much? How much you going to give me, Chris? You told me you're going to give me cash. How much you going to give me? I just throw it out there. Hey, Yvonne, sorry I wasn't able to connect with you today. I was actually just calling around to a couple of individuals, blah, 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 blah. I got 2 or 3 strategies that can probably get you about $500,000 for your house right now. If you're interested in knowing what these couple strategies are and how you can get that, because I know other homes in the area are getting that price, give me a call, or matter of fact, go over to www.whatever.com. Again, I'm not going to get everybody to go to the website. I'm not going to get everybody to call me back. I'm not going to get everybody to answer the phone, right? Now, if it's a phone number that could be text, what do you think I'm probably following up behind with? How many of you guys got stumped on Friday when you got an email, a text message, and a voice drop from your good old friend Sean while he was sitting on the couch having a beer and it all happened? Yeah, I hit you guys with an email, a text message, and then a few minutes later, some of you got this phone call that you didn't know what the heck it was, my business partner being one of them, and calls back going, I just had a missed call from this number. So in this case, if I call and I got their voicemail and it's a textable number, or heck, I'll give it a try because I maybe don't know if it's a textable number or not. I'm going to shoot a text. Hey, Yvonne, this is Sean with Access Home Buyers. I just gave you a call. I left you a voicemail. Let me know if you have any questions. Now they're going to be like, well, who the heck is this Sean person? Or what the voicemail? Let me go. I'm manufacturing the engagement. I'm manufacturing the opportunity. I'm trying to make it happen. Does this make sense? Email, I'm going to play the same strategy. I'm going to email them with, hey, this is Sean, blah, 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 blah. Here's what I've got. I've got a couple strategies. Homes in your area. I see the market's doing this. Here's what you can probably get. If you want to know more about these couple strategies, let me know. I've been doing this strategy, but I literally just had one of these happen on Friday. Somebody randomly followed the Top Results Instagram page. They're a real estate investor. Don't know who they are. As Top Results page, I sent them a message and said, hey, thanks for following us on Instagram. I was over on your website and noticed there's 2 or 3 things stopping you from ranking well on Google. If you'd like to know more, let me know. I'll shoot you a quick 2 to 3 minute video. They answered back, absolutely. I shot a Loom video, sent it to them. that was 2 minutes long, showing them how their website looks really cool. It's about this big. There's no content. Google loves content. And let me show you our friends Liz and Marie at lizandmarie.com, who are also in the Arizona market. They just happen to be over in Mesa. And let me type this in. And literally on the video, I went, "We buy houses Mesa." And what pops up in like the third spot? Liz and Marie's Mesa page. And I said, if you want to know more about this or talk deeper, let me know. We'll schedule a time to talk deeper about this. And I sent it back to them, sent them the Loom video. They watched the Loom video and they reached back out and said, yes, I want to talk more. Great. Here's the link to book a time on my calendar. Guess who I have a call with on Wednesday? That was not an organic lead. That was just somebody who organically followed the top results page, but I manufactured the opportunity. Is this making sense? Because I went on the offensive and enticed them to move to the next step. So do the same thing in your emails. Hey, Yvonne, got a couple strategies that I know are working in this area. Probably get your house about 500, 550,000, 600, whatever your price points are. If you want to know what those are and how I can help you, let me know. Email, you could do this a couple ways. When they reply back with yes, you could reply back with, great, let's talk. What's a good number that I can call you on? You could do exactly what I did. Go to loom.com. It's free for 5-minute videos. You can do unlimited 5-minute videos for free. Go to Loom, have everything pulled up on how you're evaluating the market and show them, here's the type of homes that are selling for X. Here's what they look like. Here's an example of 1 or 2 of them. Go through some of the pictures really quick just to show the quality and the condition of it all. And say, if you're not in this condition, we've got some ways to help you get there or help get even top dollar for your house that's not in that condition. All I'm doing is trying to get them to say yes to a conversation with me, right? If it's phone call and they call you back, you all know what to do. Have the conversation. If it's phone call and you leave a voicemail, probably remind yourself to follow up with them later in the week. Give them another quick call. But all you're doing is 2 a day. 2 a day. That you're trying to make some touch point, some connection with. It shouldn't consume more than maybe about an hour of your time a day. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on how fast you are with it. Once the connection's made, you guys already know what to do from there. It's into your process. It's into your pipeline, right? Goal number 1 of a real estate investor after they talk to somebody is to get out and see the property. Whether that's physically get out or get a bunch of pictures of the property or a video of the property or something, right? We're just trying to manufacture the front end, but we want to leverage our website in there. So whether it's knocking on the door, leave something behind that's got your website on it. If it's a voicemail, leave your website in there. Tell them how they can go look you up. If it's an email, put your website in there. If it's a text message, put your website in there. Does this make sense? We good with it? Who can commit to doing this over the course of October? Got a couple hands. Okay.
So
questions. I know you got them. Go ahead, Yvonne.
So I recently did a campaign, and it was ringless voicemail and text message. And I actually did, I got some leads. One were potentially thinking about making an offer on a house. And I had a couple more people who said, call me back in a couple months. But here's my question. So I was kind of told to go a different route and make it more personal and not tell people that you're an investor, which means I'm not going to send them to a website. So this is like a totally, and I'm all for it. I'm like, okay, I did it one way this time. Maybe I should try it a different way the next time. But yeah, I was told, yeah, just kind of go with the, you and your husband live in the neighborhood and you're looking for property and don't say the word investor. So
I'll agree with don't use the word investor, right? Notice I said, my name is Sean Tiberio with Access Home Buyers.
Okay.
Not Access Home Buyers. I'm a real estate investor. right? I'll agree with that part.
Okay.
However, the part that I don't ever agree with, and I've never agreed with, is the disguising what it is that you are and what you do. Because at some point it's got to come out, right?
No, you're right. You're right.
And that would be like me going on a date and telling Deanna on our first date that, well, not telling Deanna that I have no job and that I try to run my own business
Mm.
because I'm afraid that she might look at me bad for trying to run my own business and not having a job, right? And a steady paycheck. But at some point, 3, 4, 5 dates down the line, all of a sudden it's like, well, what do you do for work? How do you make your money? See what I'm saying?
Got it.
At some point in that relationship with that person, it's going to come out that, oh, you guys are actually investors. You're not buying this for yourself to live in this thing,
Yeah.
right? And it's the bad taste then at that point.
Yeah.
Listen,
Very-
we're separating ourselves by attacking it differently right out of the gate. I'm not coming to you, hey, I just want to give you a fast cash offer for your house like everybody else is saying.
Mm.
No, you've done some research up to this point. You've looked at it and you know that the house is worth your time, energy, and effort. If they're interested, you're going to put in everything you got because that house right there, it fits all the qualifications that I would normally go after, right? I've done a little bit of research before I do my first outreach to them, meaning I kind of know what the ARV of this house is going to be. I've got one burning question now. What's the condition? I just need to see where it's currently at. What's its current condition to be able to give them a number? Right. Whereas most investors, they're caught with their, you know what, at the ankles and they got to play the game. Well, hold on, give me 48, 72 hours. Let me do some due diligence. Let me go figure this out. And then I can kind of come back to you. You'd be coming to it going, hey, Jackie, thanks for giving me a call back. Or, hey, Jackie, thanks for answering the call today. Here's a little bit about me. Got a couple strategies. You got 10 minutes, 5 minutes, got 3 minutes, whatever you got. I can drop a couple of these on you. And if you want to talk more, let's go. Jackie's like, well, that's great. Tell me a little bit more. Cool, Jackie, why don't we do this? I'll just schedule a time to come on out and see your property. And then we can literally talk all the details right there on the spot. Because you've already done what you would have done anyway. So you go there, you take a look at the house and you're like, man, needs $80,000 in rehab. Cool. Give me about 5 seconds. Step off here to the side. Let me play with some numbers on this and I'll give you an idea where we'd be at. And just that change in itself completely changes the way they're connecting with you, the way they look at you. And this is why I say, if you lead with giving them the website every chance that you've got, getting them to go to the website every chance you got, you're letting that brand that you've built out here online, that you're continually building out there online, pick up a lot of the heavy slack for you, the credibility side of it. Lorraine, I noticed your camera is off, but this was something else she told me the other day, or actually today, about her trip over the weekend. She's got a friend that is in the web development space that looked at her website and was like, you've got it all in place. You have got everything that you absolutely need in place for this. This is amazing. There's nothing else that you need to be doing. The credibility comes from what you guys have already been putting in the work on. We just need more traffic to it. My strategy is to get you to force traffic onto that site. But we're not attacking a 5,000 person list. Yvonne, I don't know what size it was that you bought, that you did text blasts and cold, ringless drops to. But let's say it was 1,000 people and in reality, 80 of them were actually ideals. See the difference?
Right. It was like 970 and I got responses from like 30.
And of that 970, if you spend a little bit of time and look through it based on some criteria, like if I asked you right now, what's the perfect house, the perfect area, perfect size, what is your go-to metric that you evaluate off of?
Well, I use absentee owners.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What's your ideal project?
Oh, that's a very good question because with
You
the
like ranches? You like multi-story? You like certain square footage, bed, bath size? What is it?
So yeah, single family with either a basement or a garage, if not both, and at least 1,000 square feet.
So what if she took that 970, set some parameters around and said, I'm going to get rid of everything that doesn't match. at least 1,000 square feet with a basement and garage. That 970 probably just came to 400.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Then,
No, I understand.
then it's okay. Those are absentee homes that are at least 1,000 square feet with a garage and a basement. But Yvonne, you tell me where in your marketplace is like all day long, every day of the week, I would die to do a house here.
You mean the location?
Yep.
County that we live in,
Which is what?
Home County,
Home?
Macomb.
Macomb. So now she's got a list that's scrubbed down. She knows it fits the size criteria, 1,000 square feet, basement and garage. But you take that, let's say it's 450 names or something now, and you only are going to pull out the Macomb County properties. And let's say that gets down to 80. Great. I got an 80 person list. Ideally, I'd like it to be 100, but these are 80 homes that are in the exact county that I would die to do every single day of the week. And they fit the size criteria that I love to do with all the elements that I want.
Right.
Now I'm only going to attack those 80. Not that there's anything wrong with the other ones, but I'm on a mission to get a couple deals done, right? I'm trying to make a deal happen. So I'm going to go all in on these 80 and work them at a higher level than just hitting them with a text blast and a voiceless drop. If I had address, phone number, and an email for a homeowner on there, guess what I'm doing? The 2 today, I'm hitting them on all channels. I'm going to hit them with a phone call. If I don't get them, I'm going to leave a voicemail. I'm going to follow it up with a text message if the text message will go through. And then I'm going to schedule some time throughout the day to try to swing by that property. I'm going to knock on the door. And if I don't get any of that to work, then I'm going to shoot them an email at the end of the day. And I do that for 2 a day, and that's it. Tomorrow, I look at 2 more and do the same strategy. And pretty soon, you're going to drum up something. Worst case, you're going to get a lot of people hearing about your business and going online to look you up because you know that's where they're going. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to see if Roger's got something to add here. Go ahead, Mickey.
So because I moved, the driving around is a little bit more complicated, but I was thinking, could I just do local area here and create quickly a new page, a new landing page just for this area? And then, you know, put my website address just for that.
100%.
Okay. I'll do that then. It will be easier.
Could still be the Baltimore area where you guys are normally at. So you don't have the driving part, but I'm going to hit them with every other channel that I've got. Or I got addresses. I can't go knock on it. Liz, I don't know if you guys have it around, but you guys had these postcards made up that you would randomly drop a postcard in the mail based on a certain follow-up portion. So maybe you had something like that, Mickey, where it's not, doesn't need to be that fancy, right? Maybe it's just literally it's a handwritten letter instead of worrying about the machine that writes them handwritten, blah, 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 blah. We're talking about 2 a day, right? Sit down and write a quick letter, drop it in the mail.
Oh yeah, I've done that tons of times.
Yeah, know what else? We get postcards wherever we go. And then, you know, we can drop those in too. Handwrite those real quick.
Out of the box. That's really what this is. I'll tell you this quick story on how this structure of a campaign landed us a 24-unit apartment. We were going after, it was 2 separate owners. Each owner owned 2 6-unit buildings. There's 4 of them in a row, but they were split. It was every other. This person owned this one. This person owned this one. Then the one next door was the other owner. And then the one next to that was the owner in the middle. I wanted all 4. I didn't want to have to own buildings with other buildings in between us that I couldn't control, right? So we had the one owner on wrap. He was good. We were under contract with him, but nobody could find any information about the owner of the other 2 properties. None of her information was out there, couldn't figure anything out whatsoever. Finally, one day, we decided to go back into some deep archives of photos that we can find on Google Street view of these 4 buildings. And one of the images that we found had a sign in the front yard, a for rent sign, and there was a phone number on it. This photo was like 8 years old at the time. We decided to call the phone number. Nobody was answering the phone number, but we decided to start doing reverse lookups and seeing who was that phone number registered to. Long story short, we ended up finding a name that we were then able to find a Facebook profile on, that then we were able to send a Facebook message to the person, and it ended up being the owner of the property. Ended up going under contract. We ended up with all 4 of the buildings. But it was because we went a little out of the box. Why? Because I knew it was worth the extra effort to get my hands on those 2 properties and have 24 units, not 12 split between other, 12 other units that I couldn't control. Would I have done that for just any old opportunity? Probably not. Anything you want to add, Roger? You're muted. There you go.
I have actually a number of things that I want to kind of add to this, but I want to make sure there wasn't any more questions here where I kind of go on a little bit of a tangent.
Good.
All right, so cool. So kind of talking about this whole I love the conversation, by the way. It's manufacturing, kind of the opportunity going out there. I mean, kind of falls right in line with, it's like everything we talk about for the website and kind of pinging the algorithms. That there's no difference offline. I mean, this just goes back to that mentality or that mindset of fanatical prospecting, right? Just you're always trying to create opportunity for your business. If you're not doing it right, because you always have to have things in the pipeline. The day you decide to take a step back and not be a fanatical prospector is the day, what is it? I think it's 60 to 90 days is when you're going to feel the hit, right? So for us here at Top Results, we very rare do we put take the foot off the gas. We continue to kind of move forward, and there's always different types of opportunities. They're coming from different avenues. And what I'm starting to kind of see with our client base here at Top Results is that we're in it. We started at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. We're kind of approaching that 2-year mark, right? We're still not quite there, but we're approaching that. And it's very interesting for me to see this because right out of the gate, it's not like we sold a bunch of Dominator level clients, right? We really kind of had to establish ourselves, build that reputation, kind of start helping a number of our clients out of the foundations, which most of you guys are in that level, and then educate you, really kind of show you kind of the value of all this. And a lot of you guys took action, right? There's kind of a, what is it? A saying of, what did they call it? I think it's the, see here, COI, which is something that Tony Robbins kind of uses a lot, the cost of inaction, which is huge. It didn't really hit me till now that we're approaching that 2-year mark here with Top Results. Is I'm getting text messages left and right. People aren't getting flooded with leads, but they're getting leads. I get text messages like, hey, I got another lead. Hey, I got another lead. I know JP is like, dude, you're probably getting tired of me texting you, but I got another lead. I was like, the day I get tired of listening to that is the day I'll retire, right? And we're done. I was like, this is important. This is what we want to do. But what I find interesting is that the clients that are taking action are moving the needle, and SEO is proven, or strategies are being proven to work, because what's happening is, to Sean's point, is it's not a short game, it's a long game, right? We're not even approaching the 2-year mark with Top Results. And our clients that are not into Dominator, but have been taking action, are starting to see the results, right? Are starting to see some results, starting to see some leads coming in. So that's really, really cool to see. But when you start looking at, what else can we be doing? What does it take? All it is how much work we put into the campaign, right? How much work we actually put into it to see how fast it takes. So I love that COI, because the cost of inaction, how it reflects to your online presence. I kind of did, and not putting anybody on the spot, I was just kind of listening. I was taking some notes and kind of seeing who was on the call. And I know kind of Liz, you mentioned it at the beginning, we're starting to get leads from Mesa, right? And I mentioned you guys at the event. I have seen the numbers for you guys, and I'm like, that's an obvious thing. You're gonna get leads from Mesa because you've been doing the work, and you know the competition is showing the amount of work that you put in is that the cities that are ranking a little better, and the amount of work you put in, unfortunately, your competition is a little heavier in Phoenix, which means we got to put a little bit more work over there, right? So it makes sense where that goes. But something that I kind of saw interesting, I want to kind of pick someone different. I see her on here and she works with you guys, Mia, right? Mia is a real estate agent. She's an agent. She has a website with us, a little different than the real estate investor stuff, but she works with the real estate investors here with Liz Marie. But I'm looking at her website while we're talking here. And one of the things I know she's been off camera, but I don't know if you can answer this, Mia. Have you added anything to the website? Have you done anything to the website since we built it?
The only thing that I've added to the website since we started was we added a page for homes that I'm listing for sale. So any active homes that I have. So that's what I've added.
Okay. So as an agent, same thing with real estate investors, one deal can mean a lot. It's a game changer, right? One deal can pay for all your marketing for the year or whatnot, right? So when I started kind of doing the research, I dropped her website into our SEO tool, Ahrefs, and I started kind of digging deep. And it's like, where is this project? What is it doing? Is it doing anything, right? So you just heard it from Mia. She added a page. That's it, right? As far as we can do, the action that we can take for you and provide a website for you is it gets so far before it needs some more action, right? So for Mia, this is something that she needs to look at and possibly start looking into, because when I started looking at it, I talk about getting you guys in the race. If you're in the wrong race and you don't know where the finish line is, what your goals are, then you're wasting your time with your online presence, right? Because it's a lot of effort. With Mia, I looked at it. She gave us very clear instructions. She already had an existing website, so we had some direction, and we optimized a certain way. And right now, she is not ranking on page 1, page 2, she's not even on page 10, but she's indexed for some really big keywords in her market. That's what I noticed, and it kind of like made a big aha moment for me, because she is basically now in the race for keywords like Tempe, Arizona real estate agent. What else do we have here? Chandler, AZ real estate agent, Tempe real estate agents in Arizona. And just the variations, and not only that, that's not the exciting part, is the search volume, the value of that keyword. That's what I started kind of noticing. And I'm like, yeah, she's stuck on page 50, but Google knows she exists. You're in the race, Mia. That's the whole point of this, right? You're in the race, and all of you guys are in that kind of situation. You got to find out if you're in the race. And when I added and I only took 10 of these keywords, she's actually ranking for 22 very valuable keywords. But I took the value of those, even though she's stuck, on page 20 and above. I took the value or the volume of this, added it up, and she has a potential of about 700 in the volume, meaning 700 people can potentially be looking for her or for that particular keyword in that. And when I started looking at the competition, these are her other realtors, the actual brokers themselves, right? Zillow and all the big names there. So that's where Mia can make a data-driven decision off of what I see here and be like, all right, I can possibly get at least one deal out of this. Should I invest more time on trying to move the needle for these keywords? And that's something Mia has to answer, right? I'm using her as an example because that's perfect example of you're gonna get a tool, it's gonna be there, and it goes back to Sunday, the presentation I did on Sunday, where what is it, the normal or the standard kind of web design process, where you're gonna wait 2 years and then you're gonna decide that online marketing doesn't work or your website's not working. So you gotta look at that stuff and kind of look at it as a growth-driven design, right? Where you got to continue hitting it with some kind of value and keep moving even if it's a little bit. A lot of you guys have done that. It's been slow, but surely, the needle has been moving. And I mean, now I see it. Liz Marie, perfect example. JP, perfect example, right? Segol's on here, perfect example. They've been moving the needle slowly, but guess what? Now with time, you're starting to get leads, right? So you got to kind of decide what kind of effort you want to put out there, and what is it costing you not to take action, in other words. So for Mia, she got a website, she's really excited about it. When we built this, it's maybe time we jump on a call, Mia, and look at this, because I'm looking at some opportunity here. This is kind of interesting, the numbers that I'm seeing here, because once again, I can't force you to do that, but I'm looking at this as your agency, right? I'm like, man, this is actually something you need to know, because then you might say, I wish I known that, because I have a little bit of a budget for my marketing. I wish you would have told me that. And that's why it's important for us to kind of be on these calls on Mondays, book those calls to have a review, because that way you can see and make data-driven decisions if it's worth it for you, right? So hopefully that helps out. I just thought it was really interesting when I started adding up the numbers. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a possible opportunity for Mia to actually get some good targeted traffic that can convert into a possible deal.
I actually have a whole list from the thing you did last week, the conference or networking event. I don't know what you're calling it, but I have a whole list of things that I want to add and talk to you guys about. I just hadn't had a chance to call, so I'll get that scheduled.
Awesome.
Cool. Questions?
Okay, wait. So while we're on the phone, we just got another lead that just booked a call with us. And for
From
me,
Mesa?
I don't know. And then for me, I see Roger's saying he's giving you a chance. You got a chance. So you got 1 in a million. You're saying I got a chance. So you're on page 50. He's saying you got a chance. It just came
I'm
in.
gonna make it to page 1.
Huh?
I'm gonna make it to page 1.
Oh, you will, but I'm just saying, he's saying you got a chance.
Cool. Questions? Anybody else? Congrats on the lead, Liz and Marie, by the way. No? Okay, so what's the action for this week? What are we going to do? Jackie, recap it. And you just happen to get picked on today because you're right in the middle of my screen.
Okay. All right, so we are going to create a combination of scrubbing a list, buying a list, building a list, whatever it takes for us to get a list together. We are going to start filtering the list based on our set criteria, getting contact information. Could be phones, emails, addresses, or best of, all three if possible. We're going to do desktop for the investors. We're going to do
The same
desktop.
strategy even applies. Mia could literally run this exact strategy and gain more listings.
All right. We're going to start doing desktop analysis on the filtered lists to get us to about 100 people / properties. Then we're going to decide on our best 50 from that list of 100. We're going to connect with 2 people or properties, whatever it is, per day in the month of October. How we do that is to either, and this is after you've done your due diligence and your research, drive, phone, voicemail, text, email. And loom.com we can use to create a 5-minute video. So if we get somebody, we can say, here's a video if you really need to see, the strategies. And we're gonna make contact one way or another, 2 per day in the month of October. How's that?
Great recap. Big focus for this week is be ready by next Monday to be able to say, hey, Sean, I got everything. And starting Tuesday, I'm going after 2 a day. That should be like the main goal for the week. Okay. We good?